Yeah, welcome in. Welcome back to another episode of the Format Podcast. Got a pretty interesting show for you here today. Going to talk about the NBA trade deadline and the biggest story of said trade deadline. LeBron James, the Warriors called the Lakers to see if they could get LeBron James. Man, stick around for this one. Anyway, before we get to that, you know what time it is. If you're here on YouTube and you haven't already, please go ahead, click that subscribe, that like, that notification bell so you're made aware whenever we drop new content on the channel. If you want the audio only version of the podcast, make sure you open up your audio podcast platform, hit the search bar, type in the Format Podcast, and we should come right up. If you're enjoying the content, please make sure you give us that like, that 5-star review, and drop a comment. All that stuff helps us rise in the algorithm. We're really starting to kind of elevate the status of this channel, and we're going to continue to put in the work. Really appreciate all of you. Make sure you check out my post on the community tab on YouTube here, and let me know when's going to be the best time for you guys to be trying to do the live shows, whether that's Saturday or Sunday. Once we get a day locked down, then we can work out a time. Really looking forward to that. Really looking forward to getting the calls from you guys so I can further interact with you and make the show even better for 2024. So make sure you're doing that, and make sure you share. All right, let's get to it. So if you know the NBA, if you're an NBA fan, the trade deadline passed earlier this week, a couple days ago, and one of the most interesting stories to come out of that was that the Golden State Warriors and the Philadelphia 76ers both called the Los Angeles Lakers to inquire as to the status of LeBron James. And if I'm the Warriors, as an organization, I guess I can see this thing two ways, right? I always talk about two sides of the coin in life. First way I see this is, if you're the Warriors, why would you call LeBron? And I'm going to get into that in a second. On the flip side, I can see why you would call LeBron, right? So let's start there. I think the first reason, if you're the Warriors, you call LeBron James is he is still probably the number one draw in the NBA. So you get the money. It's a business first and foremost. So you call the Lakers, you try to get your hands on LeBron James. You know he's going to fill the seats. You know he's going to sell merch. And so that is a huge amount of money, especially in a year where you probably don't have a real chance, a realistic opportunity at winning a championship, because we know winning a championship, that's the real way to make money. All the championship merch, all the home playoff games for a deep playoff run, that makes tons and tons of money for owners, whether it's selling the tickets themselves or the concessions or parking. All that stuff makes a ton of money for owners. So huge move financially, economically, if you were to be able to get a guy like LeBron, or not a guy like LeBron, but to get LeBron onto your franchise. Second, and this is the part where I got to be 1000% honest. If you bring in LeBron, you have a legitimate chance to win a championship. Maybe not this year, but next year, right? And why is that? Because it is irrefutable that LeBron James has won on every franchise he's been on. He's won in Cleveland. Obviously, he's won in Miami. That's why he went there. And finally, we know that he's won with the Lakers. However you feel about a bubble championship, it is what it is. He won a championship. History will show that. So he's played for 3 franchises now. He's won championships at all 3. And so the empirical evidence, you know, I'm an empirical evidence guy, says that you bring LeBron James onto your team and you will win a championship. So if you're the Warriors organization, that's why you reach out to the Lakers to make that call. Now, let's look at the other side of that, right? So as I read and as it's been reported, when the Warriors called the Lakers, the first statement from the Lakers was, you know, talk to Rich Paul and see what he has to say about it. So the Lakers obviously reach out to Rich Paul, and they find out that LeBron has no interest in leaving the Lakers. Interesting. Do you really want to take on the LeBron James show if you're the Warriors? Yeah, you have a chance to win a championship. You got a chance to win a lot of money, but we know what LeBron does. We know what he does. Even at this point, if you were to bring in LeBron James, and again, obviously the trade didn't go through, so it's highly unlikely to happen. LeBron seems to be very happy in Los Angeles, and that's great for him. And that's probably great for Laker fans, right? Although I don't think he's going to win another championship. But even at this late stage in his career, LeBron James is still playing at a really high level, although his statistical production is not really affecting winning as much anymore. But here's my thing. He would expect to, as he always has, wield great power in any organization that he's been on. And for me, that's problematic. I don't want anything to do with that. For instance, I'm a Celtics fan, and my brother, he's a Lakers fan, so we're always back and forth, Lakers, Celtics, Celtics, Lakers, whatever. And he's always saying to me, Brucey, you're lying if you tell me that you don't want LeBron James in Boston because he'll bring you a championship. I said, no, I don't want anything to do with that because he will destroy your franchise. He'll destroy it while he's there, and he'll destroy it for the foreseeable future when he's gone. And I don't want that. I would rather go the old way, the hard way, however long it takes, and get the chip that way. And he can't believe it. And I'm like, no, that's 1000%. I don't have any interest in having that dude on my team. And I bring that up to say, any team that he goes to, yes, the evidence is that he will deliver you a championship, but he'll wreck your team. He will wreck your team currently because obviously he's going to need to go there, trade out everyone, bring in all the players that he wants because we know he can't play in his system. He's got to control everything. And then he will wreck your future because to bring in the players that he wants, you got to basically mortgage your future. So I don't want any parts of that. I want sustained, long-term, high-level play. I don't know that I trade that for 1 year to try to win a championship. Now, LeBron does not have a no-trade clause. So if you're the Lakers, you got to do what's best for you as an organization. And I think that probably would have been a good move for the Lakers. It would have tried to start to reset that time clock in terms of how you rebuild your team, because LeBron can't play forever no matter what they think. So it's going to reset your time clock. It's going to get some major cap relief, and you probably get Clay in that deal. You get picks and whatever else. Allegedly, the Warriors didn't want to part with Jonathan Kuminga, and I'm sure the Lakers would have wanted that as part of any deal with LeBron James. And even if you get LeBron, like I mentioned, you have to give up a whole lot for him. And the other part is, like I said, you know what he does to the future of the organizations that he plays for. And to me, that's just problematic. I just don't know. I don't know. I know that I wouldn't want that if I was an owner, if I was a GM. I don't think it's worth it for, 1 year for a chip. And especially at this point in his career, when you know that as great as he is, he doesn't have a whole lot left in terms of how long he can play. Now, here's the other piece of that, the elephant in the room. Any organization that gets LeBron James, you have to deal with the question of Bronny James. And, let's be real here. We know that LeBron wants desperately to hang around long enough to play with his son, Bronny, who is a freshman playing basketball at USC. Very outstanding high school player and a good, I can't even say good yet, a decent college player, but he's a freshman and he looks like a freshman out there. And what do I mean by that? Bronny James, we have the question of, is he even good enough to come out this year or even the year after? He's averaging 5.9 points per game, 3 rebounds per game, 2.6 a game on 36% shooting. He is not an immediate NBA player. As it stands right now, he's not an NBA player, but LeBron is pushing to get his son drafted, as any good father would, as he should. But he knows talent and he knows his son is not an NBA player. So he's looking at it with father-son goggles on, and I get it. But the fact is, any team that he's on, he's going to want them to draft Bronny. And why is this a problem? Because, again, Bronny's not an immediate NBA player, and he'd be taking an NBA player spot just to pacify his dad. He would be costing some NBA player money and possibly his livelihood in the league just to pacify LeBron. And that's not cool. That's not cool at all. I'm really not with that. And so if you're an NBA franchise, for instance, the Lakers, presumably LeBron will be there next season, do you draft Bronny just to pacify this dude? Bronny is not going to help your roster. He's not going to help you win games, at least not right away. So what's the point of that? You're handcuffed there. So this is another thing. I want to assume that the Warriors had to consider this, but logically, it doesn't seem like they did. So why would you even make that move? And the other thing is, if you're the Warriors and let's say the Lakers that say, you know what, we're just going to go ahead and make this trade, reset ourselves. This is what's best for us as an organization. If you're the Warriors, why do you do that? LeBron James has a player option for next season. You don't even know if he's going to stay with you in Golden State. So that none of that makes any sense to me. All right. But here's the bigger questions. As an NBA fan, and I know the NBA demographic skews younger, so they grew up seeing a different type of league. But why would you want to see this? Why would you want to see this? I know I wouldn't. Why? And the reason I say that is, that the Warriors went to Steph Curry and asked him if this was okay for even before they even made the move to call the Lakers. So if you're let's go back to if you're an NBA fan, why would you want to see this? Don't you want to see competition? Aren't you tired of these dudes teaming up? Don't you want to see them going at each other? For instance, LeBron James pulled out another virtuoso performance earlier this season when I think Saturday night between the two Super Bowl lead-up weeks, there was a primetime game, Lakers at Warriors, and I think LeBron had like 39 points, 20 rebounds, and 12 assists, and I think he hit the late game shot to win against the Warriors. Like, that's what you want to see. That's what you want to see. You want to see these dudes going at each other, rivals, competing. You don't want to see these dudes joining up. Why would you want to see that? I don't understand it. Now, from the organizational standpoint and the player standpoint, you know, like I said, that the Warriors went to Steph Curry before they even made that call and said, is this okay? Why? Because the NBA is the star-driven league and you can't do anything without your stars' permission. I don't like that. As an organization, you got to do what's best, but, you know, they have kowtowed and catered so much to the stars for so many years, you can't change it now. But if you're Steph, why would you say that's okay? Like, I get it. You want an opportunity to win another one. You got 4 championships. I just don't get it. Like, as a competitor, why would Steph say this is okay? As a competitor, why would Steph say that this is okay? I just don't understand the mentality of these modern players. And I guess that's part of the reason that I'm sitting here saying what I'm saying, that I don't understand their mentalities, because they come from a different era. They came up a different way. Maybe the animosity is not there. I really don't see the competitive fire being the same. And so they don't see any problem with teaming up when it comes to winning. But part of that is the culture created by us as the sports media. Why do I say that? Because so often we boil everything down, the be all end all, to championships. And so what are they saying? We got to do whatever it takes to stack these championships so that we can be measured with the greats of the past, even though they don't respect the greats of the past. But why would you want to be measured with the greats of the past? Because anyone who knows the game will know that if you go about it this way, you didn't go through the same hard road that the greats of the past went through to win. Ask Isaiah Thomas what he went through to win. Ask Bird and the Celtics what they went through to win. Ask Michael Jordan what he went through to win. Ask Olajuwon what he went through to win. Ask Shaq what he went through to win. It wasn't expected for these guys to win. It wasn't expected for them to win right away. They had to earn their way to these championships. And so all these things are what I talk about. Even if you know that championships are how you're measured at the end of the day, how greatness is separated. And I get it. Big O can talk to you about that. He had to end up, he got traded, but ended up going and playing with Lou Alcindor, who later became Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, to win his only championship because he fought, couldn't get past the Celtics. And I get it. Championships are often the separator. Jerry West could tell you about that. He only had one. He fought, finally he got one. But the point is, if the championships are not won through the same struggle, to me, they look different. Now, to some people, all championships are created equal. I totally disagree. Anyway, that's probably a topic for another show. But what I'm saying is, I just don't understand these modern players' mentality. I want to believe that they're competitors. I really do. But for the most part, I don't see it. And if I'm Steph, I don't want this guy on my team, especially knowing that this was my competition. Now, if I'm LeBron, I definitely don't want to play with my primary rival who's beaten me on multiple occasions in the finals. However, we know LeBron don't care. He'll team up with anybody if he thinks it's going to make the road easier to another championship. But what he doesn't see is the people that really know and appreciate and understand the history of basketball. We don't see it all the same. We just don't. It makes no sense. Another note, I heard other sports pundits talking about how Rich Paul is arguably the most powerful agent in the NBA. And if you traded LeBron without his approval, even though he doesn't have a no trade, probably for the first time in his career since his first contract, if you traded him without a no trade clause, that would affect how Rich Paul deals with the Lakers going forward and maybe other teams, right? Because he's got a lot of players under his stewardship. And again, he's got a lot of juice. But here's my thing. I totally understand that it's a business from both sides, from Rich Paul and the player side and from the organization side, and that relationships are a key component in getting deals done in any business. Totally get it. However, these franchises got to find a way to stop allowing agents to hold them hostage from doing what is best for them as an organization, whether it's the agents holding them hostage or the players telling the agents to do it. Got to find a way to stop this. But again, the NBA is so player driven and so player centric. I don't think that ever will change. On another note, quickly before I get out of here, apparently the 76ers also called to ask about LeBron James. And I was like, wow, okay. And I didn't know this. I read about this as reported by Adrian Wojnarowski, who is basically the Adam Schefter of the NBA. They also inquired about Kevin Durant. That was interesting, right? So let quickly, apparently Sixers GM Daryl Morey, he called Rob Pelinka of the Lakers and he asked about whether or not LeBron James is available, and Pelinka basically immediately rebuffed Morey's interest. He said that LeBron wasn't available, and according to Woj, then Pelinka asked, okay, is Joel Embiid up for a trade? And that was the end of that. So I'm like, whoa, okay. But Daryl Morey then, he called the Phoenix Suns and he asked if Kevin Durant was available for trade. Now, the thing about that is Kevin Durant has not been with the Phoenix Suns for a year, so he wouldn't be available for trade anyway. And when hearing that, and I'm sure Daryl Morey knew that, but you know, he gotta basically turn over every stone and try to make his team better. That's what a good GM does. And when the Suns said no, he then asked about the availability of Devin Booker and Bradley Beal. Now, quick note, Bradley Beal for what? What's Bradley Beal going to get you? Now, if you put him alongside a healthy Embiid, okay, that can be cool. But Bradley Beal, I mean, you played against him in division for years. I don't see it. Anyway, the point is Daryl Morey, he tried to make moves at the deadline, and I appreciate that. But again, never. You can't bring LeBron into your organization. He is going to destroy it. And I don't know that it's worth it for one championship. But that's me. That's my thoughts on it. And I guess what I want to know from you, what are your thoughts on the Golden State Warriors, and the Philadelphia 76ers throwing their hat into the ring, taking a shot at LeBron? Would you have done it? If you were Steph, would you want LeBron on your team? If you are the Lakers, would you want to get out from under LeBron? What about the Bronny James part of it? Leave your comments in the comment section. Can't wait to hear from you. Can't wait to get back with you. And I'm out. Peace.